Hundreds of thousands of migrants have entered the U.S. through the Texas border, but have they all really gone to other states?
We're still outnumbered. We're still about 50 Border Patrol agents, 3 of us here at the Sheriff's Office.
What a local nonprofit says they're seeing when it comes to migrants in need of basic necessities.
This past year, we have seen our biggest numbers, 23 and 24. We started just increasing in the number of people that we have been serving.
Will we see more asylum seekers and migrants seeking aid after President-elect Trump takes office? I'm Yami Virgin in San Antonio, Texas, for Sinclair Broadcasting, and another edition of Immigration Crisis, the fight for the southern border. It's an astounding jump for Eagles Flight Advocacy. Thousands of families come through their doors every day seeking diapers, food, and clothing. To the CEO of Eagles Flight Advocacy, Pamela Allen, this may only be the beginning of a new trend of migrants who are not looking to go north, but rather stay in Texas. We're here now with Pamela Allen, who is the CEO of Eagles Flight Advocacy. And Pamela has her hands full. She's located in San Antonio. And as you all remember, a lot of the migrants, when they come into the country across the Texas border, they are brought then to San Antonio, where in San Antonio, they go to the center here, the migrant center here. And then from there, they move on to different areas throughout the country where they're planning on going. But Pamela has a nonprofit. And Pamela, thank you for joining us for the Immigration Podcast. Pamela, I want you to explain to people what you have seen. And you depend completely, mostly on private donations. What have you seen in the last year?
Well, Yami, first of all, thank you for allowing me to join you today. I so appreciate that. Eagles Flight Advocacy and Outreach has been operating for 11 years. And I will tell you that this past year, we have seen our biggest numbers, 23 and 24. We started just increasing in the number of people that we have been serving. And now, a little more than half of the people that we serve are the migrants.
Now, explain to us, when you're talking about the donations that you make, what do you donate and what do you see people are needing, the migrants are needing right now?
We have an outreach center on the south part of our city, and San Antonio just has always had a history of having some of the highest number of families in poverty on the south side and the west side as well. That's been just an understood issue, and that's where we wanted to be, on the south side. But when they started coming in, some of these migrants from all over, and it was just so sad to see them come in, some very physically, some of them had bruises and bumps and cuts. And we started even meeting them at the airport just to get them something to eat, because them having something to eat and having something to wear was the most basic need. And we take care of that. At our center, we have many, many children come in. And sometimes children that are coming in, they're in little onesies and little pajamas that have the feet in them. They're there with us, and immediately we just start putting clothing on them. They're looking for food. They're looking for clothing. A lot of them with little ones need the diapers. It's very hard for us to keep diapers and shoes on the shelf. That is our biggest need. And you're right, we get funded by private donors. The city of San Antonio has never come to our aid. Bexar County, there's one commissioner that has stood up for us, and Tommy Calvert, he's not We're not even in his precinct, but he knows that we help all over the community. And so we've had a donations in the past from Kim Repair Verret, but we have not been able to secure any more of those types of fundings. So it is by personal donations that we are able to get by.
Now, Pamela, when you're talking about the migrants also, where are they coming from?
We have migrants coming in from the border from Venezuela, El Salvador, Honduras, some of the most, I guess, war-stricken countries that just so much that they're going through. We've heard stories, and this was a really harsh one. There was two brothers. They had come in. There was 12 of them, and they came in with their sisters. All of their sisters were taken by the cartel. And so it was a very hard thing for them. We saw babies coming in, mamas coming in with their babies that just needed food and clothing. Some of them in soiled diapers that they would have on for so long because they had nothing else to put on. So they're all coming in from the border, from everywhere, and a lot of them are seeking us out for those basic essentials.
If you weren't there, what would people do? I mean, I know there's different agencies that provide help to migrants, but like you said, you don't ask for a whole lot of information. You just try to help the people that come knocking on the door. So if you weren't there, what would these people be doing? Because they're coming into the country and not all of them have sponsors.
Yes, that's correct. A lot of them don't have sponsors. And when they're coming in and you see them hurting, of course, we just want to help as much as we can. I don't know where else they would go. Catholic Charities is very, very overwhelmed. And you've seen the refugee centers, you've seen the condition that they're in. And a lot of these migrants are walking around with just a shopping bag and their possessions. And their possessions are very limited, but they may have a backpack on them. They always have shopping bags, and you can now see the migrants. You already know who they are because they have sweats on, sandals, slide sandals, maybe a backpack and a shopping bag with their papers and belongings. And that's all that they have. And they're walking all up and down by the migrant center. They've been walking all up and down looking for someone to help them. A lot of them make their way to us, and we help them as much as we can.
What do you think? I mean, we're all waiting for the inauguration of President Trump. He said that he will start deporting people. From what I'm being told by the people that we speak to in Washington, D.C., a lot of them are going to be people that already have orders of, deportation to get them out of the United States, people that broke the law. But what are you expecting as a nonprofit agency when President Trump does come into office?
Well, I think a lot of people are going to try and run in to beat that. I think a lot of them are going to surge in because their chances of getting in once he takes office are going to be very, very slim. So I think we're going to have more. I think we're going to have a surge. I think that they're going to be panicking and getting in as quickly as they can. There's some things about that, I know that there's been some law enforcement agencies that have been kind of concerned about us because the one gang that has come in, Tren de Aragua, I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly.
Yes, Tren de Aragua. Yeah, TDA
Yeah.
or Tren de Aragua. Yeah.
Yeah. And so we've been warned about them. And we've even had some agencies that have come to us and said, hey, listen, I know that you guys are getting a bit overwhelmed. Here's some information on trafficking because you need to be careful of that. And you know what? Unfortunately, we have seen some of that where there'll be a guy coming in with jewelry and things like that. And he's bringing in these women who have children, and he stands and oversees them. And we're starting to recognize what that looks like and how that looks, and to look for specific tattoos. There is such a dark force, if you will, with some of these families that they have quote unquote sponsors bring them in, and it doesn't look like it's a familial type of scene. it looks threatening at times. And so we've had to make sure that we've protected ourselves, protect these families, and make sure that the children are okay. And that's been something that comes out on an everyday occurrence now as when our migrants come in.
And that's the other side of it when we're talking about immigration. There's the side, of course, that's very hard line. And then there's the side that's, they're just looking for a better life. And somewhere in between, that's where people take advantage. And you have the coyotes, and you have the people trafficking, and you have the people that are used to, because this is the way that they made it all the way here, trafficking some of these women and children so that they continue surviving here while in the United States. What do you think is going to be the solution, and how long can you keep this going while also providing help for people that are from here, that are from the area?
We're going to go on for as long as we can. We have been hit hard because financially we have not been able to secure some of the fundings that we thought we were going to be able to secure. And we are now petitioning Bexar County to please help us. We need that type of assistance. We need our city and our county to rally with us as we help all of these migrants coming in. We're not the only ones overwhelmed. There's many, many nonprofits that have just been, okay, we're going to help. Okay, we're going to make sure that these children get dressed. We're going to make sure that these women are okay. But it is overwhelming, and all of our resources have been strained, not just Eagles Flight, but other nonprofits all around us. It has been such a strain. So we're hoping that next year we get some relief, and that Bexar County will come in and help us. We've been in an alliance for Bexar County on the reentry program, helping the economic and development department help with their assistance for electricity. We've been a partner, and now we need Bexar County to turn around and help us with that, and even the city of San Antonio. Again, we're not the only ones. There are other nonprofits that have been feeling the strain of such a surge of migrants. And if, things are going to get rough next month, then I expect that we're going to feel that surge as well.
All right, Pamela. And I know right now you're accepting donations. So if anybody wants to make a donation, where do they need to go?
They can visit our website at eaglesflightsa.com and make a donation. And for those of you who'd like to donate diapers or clothing or socks or shoes for children, we're located at 2454 West South Cross. That's Dwight Middle School, Building D. We're there Monday through Thursday from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. And we'll definitely take donations. We need the help. We need your support. And most of all, we need to make sure that these children are safe.
The Venezuelan gang, Tren de Aragua, is what most people are fearing is becoming the big problem. They're active in at least 17 different states, as our colleague Vincent Hill reports from our sister station, WBFF, in Baltimore.
In Baltimore City, concerns for public safety from Maryland's ICE Director Matthew Elliston.
Tren de Aragua are starting to come into the city of Baltimore, which is new for the city police department.
As he says, the violent Venezuelan gang, Tren de Aragua, or TDA, is already here.
It's heartbreaking to hear that the mayor wouldn't want our help.
But Mayor Brandon Scott has been less than willing to work with ICE.
Not going to be just targeting people because they're immigrants.
Elliston calling that thought process misguided.
We're not asking them to help us enforce immigration law. We're asking to help them make a safer Baltimore.
Meanwhile, as the two leaders go back and forth,
TDA, baby.
National Police Association spokesperson Betsy Smith sounding the alarm on how widespread the problem really is.
Many of their members are coming here illegally to the United States. They are active in at least 17 different states and are terrorizing communities around the country.
This map put out by the Department of Homeland Security shows those states, Maryland being one of them.
Tren de Aragua, TDA as they're known, is known for their violence, their extraordinary violence.
In a case that gained national attention.
At 9:05 a.m.
Jose Ibarra, found guilty of killing 22-year-old Laken Riley in Georgia, was a known member of TDA.
Nashville, Memphis, Knoxville, and Chattanooga.
In Tennessee, the director of the Tennessee Bureau of Investigations, saying the gang has taken over each major city in the state.
I think the key piece is that we are concerned.
Smith says that concern from across the country could be a concern for Baltimore.
That we cannot put politics over public safety.
The Maryland Police Department decide not to work with ICE on the problem.
Areas like Baltimore City can no longer stand in an atmosphere where we are seeing these violent transnational gangs like Tren de Aragua and many more come into this country and terrorize it.
Next week, we go back to West Texas, where Sheriff Thaddeus Cleveland talks to us about what his area of the border is in need of, as he and other border sheriffs wait to see what happens with President-elect Trump's hard stance and promises on border security.
You know, since we last talked, and of course, since you've been out here, we have started to see an increase in activity. And I don't necessarily say it's because a new administration's coming. It's just that time of the year for us. October, November, into December, we'll see a bit more activity. And then we'll probably slow down just a bit in January, preparing for February, March, April, May. That's the historical trend. And we're getting back into that pattern of activity here. But as I've told you many times before, Yami, you know, this last 4 years, last 3.5 years, it's been out of the ordinary. We've seen so much more activity. So it's nice that we're getting back to a lower level, but we're still outnumbered.
That is all for this week and another edition of Immigration Crisis, the fight for the southern border. I'm Yami Virgin for Sinclair Broadcasting in San Antonio, Texas. Until next time.